I'm Azalea with Renew Hot Yoga. Next in our QUARAflow series, we will be doing some heart openers and mild inversions. These are really important but a little difficult right now. They hold a lot of emotion in these postures and it can release a lot when we work through these asanas. So be good to yourself, have water nearby, your favorite essential oil. Take child's pose whenever you need it. We will work through this together. Let's get started. So we're going to begin here. In Anahastasana, melting heart, we'll stack the hips above the knees, walking the hands out in front, leading with the chest. One day our chest will hit the mat before our face does. Relaxing our forehead into the mat. If you need some blocks beneath you, feel free. We're still extending the arms forward, wrapping the triceps. The arms are active here. Allow the chest to drop down to the mat. This is where the heart opening comes in. Come back to your breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Ujjayi, waves in the back of the throat. Next exhale, transition the weight into your shoulders and forearms, coming down onto the belly for cobra pose. We'll bring the palms underneath the shoulders, gaze comes forward, burying our face into the mat. We'll activate the legs so hard that our knees lift up off the mat. Tops of the toes are pressed into the ground. We have grasshopper wings at our side. We'll exhale out all of our air. Inhale, everything lifts and peels, squeezing the elbows together, lifting through the chest, gazes forward. And exhale, release it down. Right ear comes to the mat, arms come to the side. We'll release the lumbar. Beautiful. Coming into Sphinx pose. Stacking the elbows beneath the shoulders, energy shooting through our fingertips, facing forward. Our palms are rooted down into the mat. We'll pull our chest forward as if we're pulling the mat towards us. This takes the strain off of the lumbar. Beautiful, leading with the chest. We don't want to sink into the scapula here, so we won't drown down here. We'll press the ground away. Lifting proud shoulders away from the ears. Walking the hands out just a little bit wider. Last few breaths as we press up into seal. Still leading with the chest so we don't compress the lumbar too much. In 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Release it down. Press it back. Knees go wide. Hips come to heels. Toes come together. Balasana, child's pose. Walking our hands up, bringing our knees together, stacking the shoulders above the hips, coming back to the breath. We'll take 3 cleansing breaths here. Fresh oxygen. Exhale through heart center. Inhale. Last one. Beautiful. Coming into rabbit or sarsangasana, we'll exhale, fold over the tops of the thighs, the crown of the forehead comes to the mat, our arms come behind, grabbing for our heels. Little to no weight is in the head as we exhale out all of our air. Inhale, lifting the hips. We still maintain a firm grasp on the bottom of those feet, stretching through the thoracic spine.
The mid-back should be shooting towards the front of the room. Counter posture to our heart openers. Exhale, release, slowly walking ourselves up. Using our hands to press the body up, support the spine. Beautiful. Coming onto our sits bones, extending the legs far out in front of us. We'll come into a bridge pose. Bringing our knees bent in. Fingertips come to our heels, right beneath our sits bones. We'll exhale out all of our air. Next inhale, we'll tuck our chin. Lift the hips, squeezing the knees towards one another. You may take a shoulder rinse here by clasping the hands behind the back, all 10 fingers. Squeezing the glutes, activating the knees towards one another. Weight comes into the shoulders and the feet. You should be able to move your head left or right. And pressing the chest up. This is also a chest opener and an inversion. Three, two, one. Exhale it down. Bring the knees into the chest, counter posture, 10-finger clasp, not crossing at the ankles. Rocking and rolling up onto our sits bones in a seated position. We'll cross at the ankles, coming into all fours in a tabletop pose. Stacking the knees beneath the hips, the wrists beneath the shoulders. We'll inhale, drop the belly, lift the sacrum, lift the chest and the gaze. Exhale. Navel comes to the back of the spine. Tuck the chin, tuck the sacrum. Pressing through the shoulder blades. Coming back to meet at neutral. Beautiful. We'll sit the hips back to the heels. Inhale the arms up, cleansing breath. Coming into camel pose, Ustrasana next. Final cleansing breath. Stacking the hips over the knees. We'll rotate so you can see a little bit better. We'll bring our hands to above our sacrum, fingers pointing down, or if you'd like a nice wrist stretch, fingertips pointing up as long as you can still support the lumbar. We'll press the hips forward. These are about hip width distance. We'll lift the chest, squeeze the elbows back towards one another. You may remain here if you'd like a little bit deeper stretch. Walking the hands back. And lifting the chest up, pressing the hips forward. Inhale, rise back through center. Hips release to heels. It's easy to get a little dizzy in Ustrasana camel pose. So go ahead and sitting our hips to our heels, maybe coming down into a little seed. Our arms come down at our side. Our forehead comes to rest in front of our knees. Passive opening of the thoracic spine. Compression of the hip flexors. Come back to the breath. Two more breaths here. Slowly unwinding, using our hands to assist our spine up, core engaged, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Beautiful. We'll come into tabletop position here, curling the toes under, lifting the hips, pressing the chest back to the tops of the feet, down dog. Mild chest opener and inversion here. Hips are above the shoulders. Wrapping the triceps, widening the shoulder blades. Shifting weight from hand to hand. Making sure everything is active. Beautiful. Walking our hands back to meet our feet. Releasing into ragdoll, grabbing for opposite elbows. Releasing the arms, interlacing the fingers, releasing the index, core is engaged. We'll heel to our feet together. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Biceps come to the ears. We'll exhale over to the right, stretching to the left side body. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, fold to the left. Inhale, rise. Weight comes into the toes, pressing the hips forward, leading with the chest, drawing a line on the ceiling. Baby back bend. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold. Release it down. Beautiful. Taking standing splits. Our weight comes into the left leg. We'll curl up the right leg. Hamstring curl. Releasing the toes to the sky behind us. It's really easy to want to open up the hips. We don't want to do that here. We want to keep the legs scissored towards one another and extending straight through the hip. You may bend the left leg if you need to make a chest to thigh connection, still extending through that hip. Inversion here. Exhale, release it down. Walk it out. Weight comes into the right foot. We'll curl at the hamstring here. Release the sole of the foot to the sky, not opening up in that hip, but remaining parallel to one another. Extending from the hip, maybe grabbing one or both ankles. And releasing the left leg down. Remembering we all have a dominant side, giving yourself grace, pedaling out the heels. Interlace the fingers, release the index, rise all the way up. Beautiful. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, back through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, rise. Drawing a line on the ceiling, back bend. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. We'll heel toe our feet out here. To Vibhaktapada Paschimottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. We can go ahead and grab on the outsides of the ankles, the shin, and the bottom of the feet. Toes are facing in, weight comes into the ball of the feet. We'll exhale out our air, inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, uses the biceps to pull the upper body down. Playing around with the arm variation here. Maybe taking a shoulder rinse behind the back. Opening up, internal rotation of those shoulders. And release. If you'd like to take a headstand, tripod here, feel free. Making a triangle shape with our hands straight beneath our shoulders. We'll place our head directly in the center to create a triangle. Stacking our hips above our shoulders before we lift off one, then maybe also the other leg. Hollow body position here, core engaged. Elbows are squeezing towards one another, 90-90. Exhale, release it down. Weight comes back into the toes. Wide-legged forward fold. And release. We'll inhale the hands to the hips. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Heel toeing the feet back together. 3 cleansing breaths. Taking a bow to your practice. You may take Shavasana if you would like, or get back to your daily activities. Thank you so much for joining us again for QUARAflow. Namaste.